Okay, so the New York Knicks defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 144 to 114, and we're going to talk about it. So, going into this game, there was no OG Anunoby, and it was a game four. Knicks are up 3-zip, and it was a closeout game. And on game three, Miles McBride only scored 2 points, and we learned that OG Anunoby hurt himself. It was game two he hurt himself, so he pulled the hamstring injury, and that's about it. And you know, where's the production gonna come from? So that was the. Bear with me real quick. Anyways, so going into the game, going into game four is all right. So OG Anunoby pulled his hamstring on game two. We still won. Cool. Game three comes around. We won that game. But Miles McBride, when he stepped in for OG Anunoby, he only scored 2 points. Where's the rest of the production going to come from? Can we be consistent, right? Can we keep up uh, the consistency and the intensity we're playing with? So that's what was going on going into the game. And last time we played a closeout game, it was against the Hawks. We beat them by like 50 points. Again, OG Anunoby was out there defending, so that was my thinking. And also, we you have to deal with the fact that we're playing in Philadelphia. We got to deal with Joel Embiid. He's gonna play in this game for sure. And you got to deal with the dynamic of Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and the referee dynamic. So you gotta because again, when we play Philadelphia, they're allowed to be physical, but Karl Anthony Towns is not. So that was my thinking going into the game. And then, let's talk about inside the NBA what they were talking about inside the NBA because it was kind of interesting. So inside the NBA, Charles Barkley, it's already, it's all Philadelphia over there. Everybody's gonna be supporting Charles Barkley. And before the game starts, he talks about, it's embarrassing to get swept at home, and so I think we're gonna win today. I am confident. So he's already, you know, I don't know necessarily what it means. I don't know if it's like sarcasm or if he's really believing, but yeah, And then on the pregame, you have Ernie Johnson, and he interviews Karl Anthony Towns in the pregame, and let's get to it. So Ernie Johnson quickly interviews Karl Anthony Towns, and he says, "So I'm looking at your assist numbers, and I'm looking at the fact that you have more assists than made field goals in these playoffs. Are you remaking your game, or is this inside of Mike Brown's system?" And his response was something like, I got to paraphrase. I got to paraphrase over here. So he says something like, "I want to impact winning, and I want to dominate the game like Shaq, and but I could dominate the game and impact winning in different ways. And yeah, I like to set up for my teammates and get my teammates involved." And again, I'm paraphrasing what he kind of said because the way he started off his answer, I was like, okay. But that was like a lot of that. What I said, that is what he said. And let's get to the first quarter. The first quarter, man. Miles McBride finished with 12 points to end the first quarter. He was 4 for 4 from the 3-point line and so forth. They have Jalen Brunson. He finished with 11 points and 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he was 3 for 4 from the 3-point line. A lot of them were assisted by Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, were doing pretty good, helping out each other. Karl Anthony Towns, 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. In the first quarter, the team finished with 10 assists, and Karl Anthony Towns had 5 of them. So that already lets you know how good he's becoming as a primary playmaker, right? And yeah, the team went 8 for 9 from the 3-point line to end the first. Sorry, I meant to say between Miles McBride, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, they were like 8 for 9 between those three, and the team finished 11 for 13 from the 3-point line. So you already know that team. Those three I think were doing good, and then other players like Landry Shamet maybe was making threes, and other players, maybe Mikal Bridges as well. But yeah, the team was on fire. The team was on a roll, knocking down threes and so forth. So let me take a look. All right, cool. I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the chat real quick because I don't want to ignore the chat. So bear with me. Anyways, so yeah, I gave you the stat sheet a little bit. You know what? I should move the stat sheet on my screen. Bear with me. Let me deal with the screen for a second. Anyways, let's get back to the first quarter. I gave you the stat sheet, and one more thing a couple of more things. It's just one or two things I want to talk about real quick. Is in the first quarter, the Knicks were capitalizing the simple fact that they were moving. The ball was moving. Not only were they knocking down shots, but also the ball was moving. And on top of that, they were capitalizing off the fact that Joel Embiid can't really rotate like that. Like honestly, I don't know how he rotates the way he does, but he's looking like I almost want to say he kind of reminds me of Patrick Ewing when he back in 98, 99 era where he's wearing the knee pads. He can't move around so much. That's what Joel Embiid is looking like to me. And, again, he knows how to draw fouls, though. That's the only difference. He's going to draw fouls. He's going to flop and flop and flop. But, yeah. The 76ers were in trouble defensively with Joel Embiid in the most respectful way I can say it. Okay, I want to talk about plays that I remembered in the first quarter. In the first quarter, okay, so the score is Knicks 40, and 76ers are 23. So scores, Knicks got 40, 76ers got 23. It's the first quarter. Josh Hart is driving to the basket, right, with his left hand, right? Bam. And then and he's in the left wing area, right? So he's driving with his left hand. He's in the left wing area, right? And he's being guarded by number 11, who I later learned is Justin Edwards, right? He's being guarded by Justin Edwards. Justin Edwards swipes at it, swipes for a steal, and he misses, right? Josh Hart stops and then he pivots, right? And he turns around, and as he turns around, Quentin Grimes is stepping up to defend as well, right? He's gonna step up, right? Boom. And then Josh Hart finds Jordan Clarkson, right? He finds Jordan Clarkson, and but okay, so he finds Jordan Clarkson, but Quentin Grimes, he's closing in on the area that Josh Hart is looking at. So he's blocking the vision, right? He's closing in on the area. It's getting to the point where he can't see. He can't see him. It's getting closer, right? But so Josh Hart, he execute. He passes the ball. Boom. He passes it to Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson is at the top of the key now, right? And now he's wide open, right? Quentin Grimes, he's like 10 feet now. He's like, oh snap! I gotta run back and defend Jordan Clarkson, right? And as soon as Jordan Clarkson touches the ball, as soon as bam, he touches the ball, Tyrese Maxey is there. So bam, he got the ball, but Tyrese Maxey is already there. Jordan and Quentin Grimes, he's already running towards Jordan Clarkson, right? And then they're like I would say in terms of distance, like they're both about 5 feet away from Jordan Clarkson in terms of distance, in terms of where they're at right now. And then Jordan Clarkson, he then throws a quick pass to Landry Shamet, who's at the right wing now, right? And then he shoots the 3-point. He's wide open now, and he shoots the 3, and he knocks it down, and to make it 43-23 Knicks. So again, you see, the Knicks. That's the kind of ball movement that the Knicks were doing against the 76ers that was becoming too much for the 76ers to defend. They're beating you with the 3. They're beating you with ball movement, and the Knicks were just much too much, right? All right, so let's get to should we get into more stats, or I think we read enough stats? Or I mean, we got the stat sheet already. Let's get to the second quarter now. Get into the second quarter. Miles McBride already has 20 points, 6 for 7 from the 3-point line. I think that's to end the second quarter. To end the second quarter, halftime, Miles McBride had finished with 20 points, 6 for 7 from the 3-point line, 2 rebounds. Karl-Anthony Towns had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 block. So Jalen Brunson, 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, and he was 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. So you can imagine, like, he's 4 for 8 from 3-point line. Miles McBride is 6 for 7 for the 3. I mean, it was a lot. Okay, so here's a story. Here's one thing that stood out for me for Karl-Anthony Towns in this game, and it's the score is 51 Knicks, 30 76ers, right? Jose Alvarado, right? He's dribbling, right? And he's in the right wing area, and he's being guarded by Quentin Grimes, right? Cool. He's being guarded by Quentin Grimes. Karl Anthony Towns, he gets ready to set uh, a screen, right? He's gonna set a high screen, right? Jose Alvarado, he's dribbling with his right hand, and then boom, he puts it through his legs, right? Boom, and then he explodes left, right? Taking advantage of the pick that Karl Anthony Towns set, right? Bam, he takes advantage, and then Paul George now he has a decision to make because now he has to figure out, you know, Quentin Grimes is not in the play right now, so now he's like, do I step up and guard Jose Alvarado, or do I step back and keep an eye on Karl Anthony Towns, right? He has a decision to make. And Jose Alvarado, he gets Jose. Let me see, let me make sure that I'm saying everything right. So Jose Alvarado gets to the top key area now, right? So he gets so he gets to the top key. I think it was like one dribble or two dribbles, and he gets to the top of the key where the circle area is. He gets to that spot, right? Within one dribble or two dribbles, right? But as soon as he gets to that spot, he looks to his right and he makes eye contact with Karl Anthony Towns. Like, okay, cool. He looks to his right. He's like, okay, cool. You see where I'm at? Yeah. Soon as by the time he said yeah, bam, he throws a bounce pass to Karl Anthony Towns, right? Karl Anthony Towns, he gets it and he takes one dribble and he drives to the basket, right? But while he's driving to the basket, we quickly see Joel Embiid there waiting for him, right? Boom, he's waiting for him. And then Paul George, he's not that far behind already, right? He's not that far behind. And then Karl Anthony Towns then looks up, right? And he finds Josh Hart cutting from the baseline. So, like, for example, he was cutting, like maybe Josh Hart was waiting for a corner three and is now driving straight to the basket. So, as soon as that happens, as soon as Karl Anthony Towns looks up, he finds Josh Hart, like, oh snap, you're cutting to the basket. And he quickly throws it to Josh Hart, and then when Josh Hart gets the ball, he quickly throws it up to the rim, and then it bounces the ball, it hits the backboard, and then boom, and then bounces in, and the Knicks score to make it 53 Knicks 30 76ers. So again, that's another play where Karl Anthony Towns playmaking is helping the team and how they're breaking down the 76ers. So last one for today. And here it is. Let's talk about Miles McBride. Miles McBride and his chant in the 76ers stadium, it was like a whole different theme. I don't know why, but that Deuce from the crowd, it was next level in this game. So, anyways, as you already know, Deuce is already scoring. He's on fire, and he's on a roll. So let's get to it. So okay, so on this particular play, score is 56 Knicks, 32 76ers. Mikal Bridges has the ball, right? He's on the left wing area. He's about to shoot it, right? So, but he throws a sort of like a cross court pass to Jose Alvarado, right? He throws like the only person that I've ever seen doing that is Jalen Brunson, and he does that to Mikal Bridges, like in a fast break. Like, for example, like if the Knicks got a steal and Jalen Brunson quickly gets the ball, Jalen Brunson's quick to throw like these kind of drift passes that Mikal Bridges, he knows, he just starts to follow the ball. He's like, oh snap, I'm in a good spot, and he either goes for a midi or he goes for a layup. But anyways, so he throws one of those passes to Jose Alvarado. Well, Jose Alvarado repositions himself um, to the corner area, to the right corner, right? So again, Mikal Bridges is on the left wing. He's about to shoot it. Then he throws that kind of pass to Jose Alvarado, where now he's taking a better shot at a corner three, right? So Jose Alvarado, he shoots it, right? And it ends up being an air ball, right? Mitchell Robinson gets the offensive rebound, passes it to Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges looks to the left wing area now because he after the rebound, he's not there no more, and he finds Miles McBride, and boom, he passes it to Miles McBride, who's already, I don't know, he wasn't. He ended the first quarter 4 for 4. He ended the first half 6 for 7. So I don't know, like this. Let's just say he's 5 for 6 or whatever, and he knocks down a 3-pointer, and but before the ball releases his hand, you hear Deuce so loud that it sounded like, bro, like, how can I say it? It sounded it like it was within the court, like it was so, like you couldn't avoid it, like it was crazy, but it was a loud Deuce, and it was like, and it was crazy, and then he knocked it down to make it 59-32 Knicks. But it's becoming one of my more favorite chants now as of late. I think the only player that I know that had um, loud chants like that was maybe RJ Barrett when it was Madison Square Garden, but and that was a whole beast on its own. Like that was like one of the loudest. But that Deuce chant is pretty. It started to catch up now. Well, I want to say catch up, but it's starting to pick up its own theme. It's starting to pick up its own legs. So yeah, Deuce has that Deuce chant is getting popular, and he was on fire. So third quarter, forget it. Miles McBride had 25 points, 7 for 9 from three point line, 4 rebounds, 2 steals on top of that. Jalen Brunson had 22 points, 6 for 10 from the 3 point line. Can you imagine? 4 rebounds and 6 assists. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 for 3 from the 3 point line. So you imagine these guys are shooting threes. It's lights out over there. And he also had 5 personal fouls too. He already had a lot of fouls. Um, sorry, he had, yeah. By the end of the third quarter, he had 5 fouls. Can you imagine? It's a lot of fouls, but you know how it is, man. They could be physical, but Karl-Anthony Towns can't be physical. So it was that kind of game. And Mikal Bridges, he finished with 6 points, and he finished with 6 assists, 2 in the third quarter. Again, I guess that one of those assists was with Miles McBride, but you figure he had this passing it to Miles McBride or Jalen Brunson and getting those assist numbers. He had 4 of them in the third quarter. So, and Landry Shamet too was knocking down shots. He finished the third quarter with 12 points and 4 for 7 from the field, 4 for 6 from the 3 point line. It was that kind of day for the Knicks. So that's about it. And then to end the third quarter, forget it. It was 144. Like by the end of the fourth quarter, like Jalen Brunson didn't play much. Didn't play the fourth. Neither did Karl-Anthony Towns. Neither did a lot of the starters. So that was the game. That was the game. And Charles Barkley, you know how this is gonna go inside the NBA when the Phillies lose against the Knicks. So Ernie Johnson starts. Let's go to the post game right now, real quick. I mean, maybe I should have said that before, but to go to the post game. Actually, let me look into make sure I'm looking at the chat. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Those who are watching, appreciate it. Those who wanna watch it afterwards, appreciate it, and so forth. Um, so Ernie Johnson starts the conversation, and that was an NBA game that only a mother could watch because this was it was a holiday. It was a Mother's Day holiday. So on Mother's Day they were at home, and he had a little bit of humor to that. He then says the New York Knicks defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 144 to 114. Charles Barkley chimes in and he says, and it wasn't that close. And I appreciate what Shaq said about what he had to say in this game a little bit. He says his favorite player in this game was Miles McBride. So that's pretty cool. You know, when you have Miles McBride getting recognition from Shaq, and I don't know, it was pretty cool. You know, Miles McBride stepped up. We didn't have OG Ananobi. Miles McBride is knocking down threes the way he is, and yeah. Anything else? Charles Barkley then talks about the Knicks. He talks about Knicks fans. You know, a lot of people, a lot of players, even Tyrese Maxey later down the line talked about how it felt like a road, how he felt like they played better at Madison Square Garden versus at home, and so forth. So, and shout out to Tyrese Maxey. He's about to be a father, so he's entering that stage of his life as well. And also, Joanna B gave a lot of VJ Edgecombe, who's a rookie, a lot of flowers. Said they drafted a good one. So shout out, he's a rookie. So shout out to VJ Edgecombe. But anyways, Charles Barkley, he talks about Knicks fans. Here he goes. He said, and how they were acting when they were down 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks, and how you know Knicks fans just 10 days ago, they wanted to trade. They wanted to fire Mike Brown, and they wanted to trade for Giannis, and so forth. So yeah, uh, they were asking. According to him, Knicks fans were saying, "Do you think we should fire Mike Brown and go get Giannis?" Uh, this was 10 days ago, Chuck. Uh, what do you think? And Chuck was like, that his storytelling is hilarious. It's a lot of comedy. So yeah, and then I don't know. Kenny Smith chimed in on this conversation too. He was like, "Yeah, everybody was calling me about that too." I don't know. I don't know about the Kenny Smith story either. So, but anyways, the Knicks will be playing. We learned yesterday that the Knicks will be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow in Madison Square Garden after they defeated the Detroit Pistons. So, the Pistons, they made it past the first round. They beat the Orlando Magic, and now they beat them in 7. And now they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7. It's a learning lesson, a growing lesson, and so forth. So, anyways, anything else I wanna anything else I should talk about? There's a little bit of NBA news. For example, like right after this game, after we beat the 76ers, Daryl Morey got fired. So Daryl Morey got fired, and the 76ers, the locker room, they didn't like the trade of trading Jared McCain for a first round pick and 2 second rounders, especially when that they didn't get anybody to help them. So So that was that kind of situation. Also, we learned that Philly was trying to trade for midseason Brandon Przensky, Najee Marshall, Ryan Dunn, and Dante DiVincenzo during the trade deadline. Giannis rumors. Also, the Timberwolves just got they got cooked by the Spurs, and they're saying that possibly Julius Randle, who helped turn around my New York Knicks, shout out to him for that, and Rudy Gobert and even Jaden McDaniels could be made available for Giannis. So we'll see. There's a popular video clip of Giannis talking to Anthony Edwards, and I don't know, maybe it had to do with the fact that Giannis wants to go to Minnesota, and we'll see. Also, the Giannis, Miami Heat want to go after Giannis, so we'll see. So, um, I think that pretty much covers it all, man. Did I cover it all? I think I did. One more last thing. Can't forget LeBron James. LeBron James, will he play with the Lakers next season? A lot of people don't want him back. They're over the whole LeBron James, and also like his son is also grabbing lots of attention. I don't know why. He was drafted 55th overall, and when we played them, like we never. I never even thought of the conversation of Bronny until now that LeBron James is leaving. Like everybody's bringing up the fact that they don't want to deal with the fact of LeBron James and possibly Bronny, possibly. I don't know. Like I don't know if that's what they're saying, but I know part is people don't want LeBron James back. That's been said. I think like James Worthy or something. Like they're over the LeBron James era, and then the Bronny situation is should he be playing in the NBA or should he be playing in the G League? So there's that kind of conversation going on back and forth, whether he's NBA ready and so forth. So there's already a lot of it's a little tense out there in Philadelphia with LeBron James. KD, I think he's gonna play next season. Steph Curry is what's the story with him? I don't know. Things are looking. I don't know where will he be next season. So that's the top three right there: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, so forth. So not to mention, I forgot to mention that we learned about the draft before the game was played. The NBA draft lottery happened, and we learned that the Wizards have the first pick, and the Utah Jazz have the second pick. The Grizzlies have the third pick. The Bulls have the fourth, and I think the Pacers have the fifth. Or is that another team? I forget. I don't know who's that other team, but I don't know. I don't even know what logo is that. I don't know whose logo is that. But then you have the Brooklyn Nets as well. The Sacramento Kings, the Atlanta Hawks, the Dallas Mavericks, Milwaukee Bucks have the 10th pick. The Golden State Warriors have the 11th pick. OKC Thunder 12, Miami Heat 13, LaMelo Ball 14, and the Bulls 15. So the Bulls have two picks, the 15th pick and the fourth pick. Okay. The Knicks will have the 24th pick. I know that. But let me just continue just in case. For the 16th pick, the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies have the second pick, no, the third pick, and the 16th pick. OKC Thunder will have the 17th pick and the 12th pick. The Hornets will have the 18th pick. So they have the 18th pick and they have 14 and 18. And they made the play-ins. Okay, the Raptors will have 19, Spurs 20, Pistons 21, 76ers 22, the Hawks 23, the Knicks 24, the Lakers 25, Denver Nuggets 26, Bulls 27, Timberwolves 28, Cavaliers 29, and Dallas Mavericks 30. Okay. So that was the draft lottery for you. And I'm still trying to figure out who is it that has the fifth pick. I do not understand that logo. Anyways, I think that wraps up today's live stream. Oh, one more thing. Mike Brown said in this game that Josh Hart is up there as a connector like Andre Iguodala. So, and one more thing. Karl Anthony Towns did make him. He made a cameo in this month. Karl Anthony Towns made a cameo in The Devil Wears Prada 2. I forgot about that. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. I'll see you in my next live. Peace out.